like I will lend you my copy, like read it, just read it. Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video I'm going to be filming a monthly reading wrap up for the month of April. I was gonna start doing these at the start of the year, but then like I completely just forgot and I didn't do it, so we're starting in May, but that's okay. I'm gonna try and do these every month because I think they're really fun and I love watching them. So yeah, I'm gonna be showing you guys everything that I have read this month. Without further ado, let's just get into the video. Okay, so the first book that I read this month was Unconditional by QB Tyler, and I absolutely love this book. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. It was so good, and it's been on my TBR for a while and I finally read it. It is about Cal and Maddie, and it's a little bit taboo, out of the ordinary for your regular romance novel, but if you keep an open mind, it's really good. And so yeah, it's about Cal and Maddie, and basically something really tragic happens to Maddie when she is younger, and Cal is a police officer and he saves her. So I think is she 5 or is she 10 when he saves her? I don't remember, but basically she forms this bond with Cal and she's attached to him, and so he ends up becoming her guardian and he essentially raises her. And then when Maddie turns 18, I think, or she's 17 turning 18, and she's always had a crush on Cal ever since she was younger, and she's always felt this connection to him. And I think it started when she was maybe 15, and then yeah, things kind of happen between them, and yeah, if you keep an open mind, it is a phenomenal book. I am obsessed with it, and the love that Cal has for Maddie is just, it's so beautiful, and I love it so much. It's so good. Cal is everything. So yeah, that is the first book that I read in May. The next book that I read is Reputation by Adriana Locke, and I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars. It is an enemies to lovers book, and I only read it because the 2 characters in this book are from the relationship pack, which I had read before that, and basically they hate each other in the book, but you don't find out why they hate each other. And so I had to read, because obviously they have their own book, so I had to read their book to find out. And I'm not gonna lie, the reason they don't like each other is kind of anticlimactic. I was expecting it to be a little bit more dramatic because of all the build up in the book beforehand. So yeah, I was a little bit disappointed in that, but other than that, it was a very good book. So yeah, it follows Coy and Bellamy, and Coy is a musician. He's a famous musician, and I think he's a country singer. And yeah, so they've been basically childhood best friends, and then something happens and they don't like each other anymore, and then Coy comes back because there's a scandal going on, and so he comes back home and Bellamy literally hates him, and Coy doesn't really have an issue with her, but he doesn't like her because she doesn't like him, and she's what have I done? And he provokes her in every way possible, and then eventually, oh, hold on, phone call. Hello? So sorry for that short interruption, my mother was calling me. What was I saying? I don't remember. Anyway, yeah, so I gave this book 4 out of 5 stars because I didn't love it, but it was good. The next book I read was another QB Tyler book, and this was Love Unexpected. And this book, once again, is very taboo. It's more taboo than the first QB Tyler book that I mentioned, in my opinion anyway. And this is a stepfather, stepdaughter romance. No, I know, but keep an open mind if you read this book. It's not for everyone. I really did enjoy it. I didn't enjoy it as much as Unconditional, but I did really enjoy it. And if you keep an open mind while you're reading, it's fine. I will say it was a little weird at times, but I was just like, you know what, Shantelle, it's fictional, keep an open mind, it's fine. Yeah, I really liked it. So it follows Dominic and Stasissa, I think that's how you say it. I could be completely butchering her name, but yeah. I don't really know how to describe this book to you without giving things away, but essentially Stasissa's mother passes away. Both her and Dominic are grieving. Poor Dominic has just been through so much. So yeah, they decide to go on this trip together just to get away from everything. And you know, one night things happen. And yeah, this book is hella steamy. I'm just gonna say it was crazy. But yeah, if you're gonna read it, just, it's not for everyone, but keep an open mind, and it's a really good book. This book I read is a controversial book. You kind of, people love it, people hate it. It's Vicious by LJ Shen. Now this book, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not the biggest fan of, but I will say when I finished it, I couldn't stop thinking about it. I was like, why am I thinking about this book constantly, and why do I want to read the next book? Like, I really want to read the next book, but like the book wasn't that good, but I really wanted to read the next one. Yeah, I didn't end up reading the next one. I do want to finish the series, but LJ Shen's a very controversial author. People don't really like her. I don't know a lot of the drama surrounding her, but yeah. This book follows Vicious and Amelia, and it's enemies to lovers, heavy on the enemies, kind of light on the lovers, and basically they meet in high school because Amelia's family works for Vicious's family as like the help at his house, and as soon as they meet, Vicious absolutely hates her, or so he thinks. But I think he's more just convincing himself that he doesn't like her when he actually does. They don't like each other. Amelia essentially has no idea why Vicious doesn't like her, but because he doesn't like her, she's like, oh, I don't like you either. Yeah, he's so rude to her, like so mean, like oh my god. So then it's in dual timelines, but like it's more just like flashbacks at random chapters to 10 years later when they're out of high school and they meet again, and yeah, so things go from there. And towards the end though, Vicious does become an absolute sweetheart, and he is really nice. It's like the trope, I hate everyone in the world but you, except he hates everyone in the world and he hates her. He just hates her a little bit less than he hates everyone else. Overall, I did kind of enjoy it. I didn't really know how to rate it. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars because it wasn't absolutely awful, but it wasn't my favorite. I don't really know how I feel about LJ Shen's writing style. It's kind of hard to get into. And I felt like the book was just going on forever and ever, even though it's only like 300 and something pages, but I felt like it was dragging on. But yeah, I do want to continue the series just because I don't know, it's kind of like, I don't want to like it, but I kind of like it, but I don't. I did end up reading Defy, which is the next book I'm going to talk about, by LJ Shen as well. This is a novella, and it's about one of Vicious's friends, Jamie, Melody, and this is a student teacher romance. Melody is the teacher, Jamie is student, and yeah, this is a really quick, easy, short read. It's only like 160 pages I think, and I did really enjoy this one a lot more. So the next book that I read is Nice Guys Don't Win by Michaela Smelter. I think that's how you say her name, I have no idea. This is the second book in, I think the series is called The Boys. But basically the first book is Bad Boys Break Hearts, and I read that and I absolutely loved it. And then Cole is heavily mentioned throughout the first book, and then he got his own book, and I absolutely loved this book. She sent me an ARC copy, and so I got to read it early, and it was so good. I'm obsessed. Cole is everything. He is the sweetest character. I love him so much. And yeah, so basically he is looking for a roommate and Zoe is looking for a place to stay, and so Zoe ends up moving in with him. They have this like connection, but you know, Cole's a complete nice guy, gentleman, doesn't act on it, and they become friends, and then slowly things start to happen. Teddy is a side character in the book, but he is hilarious, and he's getting his own book. But I did, however, feel like he kind of stole the show a little bit. I was kind of like, I love him as a character, but I felt like I wanted more Cole and Zoe and a little bit less Teddy, because it's Cole's book, you know, and I felt like there wasn't enough like of their relationship shown, like as in like the romantic part of their relationship, but I did really enjoy it. I ended up giving it 4.5 stars. The next book that I read was actually a reread. It is Stuck Up Sue by Keelan and Penelope Ward. This is the second book in their standalone novels series. The series is literally kind of like called the standalone series, and this book is really good. It's an office romance. It follows Graham and Soraya, I don't know how to say her name, and yeah, basically they meet on the train. Well, they don't meet on the train. Graham drops his phone and Soraya picks it up and she goes with her, and then she figures out who it belongs to, and she decides to go give it back to Graham. And she decides to give it back to Graham, so she goes to his work and he refuses to see her because he is the meanest person ever. He is so rude to all his employees and everything like that. Refuses to see her, so she decides to leave a few little photos on his phone and then leave it with his assistant or something, and then he gets it back and he is determined to find out who this girl is. They start messaging back and forth, I think. She puts her number in the phone, and then yeah, he eventually figures out who it is and they form this relationship. And yeah, there is a big plot twist in this book, as always with Keelan and Penelope Ward's books. I actually reread it because I forgot what the plot twist was and I wanted to reread it so I could, you know, see what it was again, and the plot twist shocked me again because I completely forgot what it was. Next book that I read is It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. This book, oh my god, it is everything and more. I'm obsessed with it. It's so good. It's so sad, but it's amazing, and I think that every single person needs to read this book. Like, I will lend you my copy, like, read it, just read it. It's so good. It's being turned into a movie too, so I can't wait to watch the movie. Atlas is everything. Everything. I'm obsessed with him. He's my favorite character. Oh my god. I love him so much. But yeah, I can't really tell you too much about this book without spoiling it, so I'm just gonna read the synopsis. But I will say there is a trigger warning for domestic violence and abusive relationships, so if that is triggering for you, don't read this book because it's literally like the whole theme of the book. So I'm just gonna read you guys the synopsis so you can get an idea of what it's about. Sometimes the one who loves you is the one who hurts you the most. Lily hasn't always had it easy, but that's never stopped her from working hard for the life she wants. She's come a long way from the small town in Maine where she grew up. She graduated from college, moved to Boston, and started her own business. So when she was a spark with a gorgeous neurosurgeon named Raul Kinchard, everything in Lily's life suddenly seems almost too good to be true. Raul is assertive, stubborn, and maybe even a little arrogant. He's also sensitive, brilliant, and has a total soft spot for Lily, but Raul's complete aversion to relationships is disturbing. As questions about her new relationship overwhelm her, so do thoughts of Atlas Corrigan, her first love, and a link to the past she left behind. He was her kindred spirit, her protector. When Atlas suddenly reappears, everything Lily has built with Raul is threatened. With this bold and deeply personal novel, Colleen Hoover delivers a heart-wrenching story that breaks exciting new ground for her as a writer. It Ends With Us is an unforgettable tale of love that comes at the ultimate price. This book is so good. It broke my heart. I was crying. I wasn't crying as much as I thought I would though, but towards the end I was like, not okay. But yeah, so good. Everyone needs to read this book. It's amazing. Oh my god, I can't say it enough. I gave this one 5 out of 5 stars if it wasn't already obvious. And the next book that I read is Second Best Impressions by Sally Thorne. This is her most recent release and I did really enjoy this one. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. There were a few things that I didn't love. So this follows Teddy and Ruthie works at a nursing home. Then Teddy shows up one day and gets like a job there. I think his father like owns the nursing home or something, and so he needs a job and he ends up getting a job at this nursing home. They become really good friends, but Ruthie, she acts like an old woman, and one of her friends is actually trying to help her, like, you know, get in the dating game, you know, make her act her age essentially. And yeah, she starts forming these feelings for Teddy, but it's only in one point of view, which is fine. But I was so confused because I was like, does he even like her, or is that just his personality? Like, I don't know, because he'd be like flirty, but like, is that him being flirty, or is that him just how his personality is? Like, does he mean what he's saying or not? And even like in like Ruthie's like head, she was like, I don't know if he actually means that, or if he is just like, if that's just how he talks to everyone, you know? And so I was confused as well, and I just felt like there wasn't enough. Like, it's a slow burn. It is a slow burn, and like, I love a good slow burn sometimes, but this was too slow burn for my liking. Like, they don't get together until like the very end, but like, which is fine. But usually in slow burns they have like moments where like things almost happen and then they don't, and it just wasn't enough romance for me personally. But I did enjoy the book overall, and I love Teddy's character, and Ruthie is really funny. And there are these two side characters, the two old ladies that live in the nursing home, and they are hilarious. I love them. So yeah, overall it was a good book. I give it 4 out of 5 stars, but yeah, there are a few things that I didn't love. The next book that I read is Punk 57 by Penelope Douglas. This is a reread. I absolutely love this book. It's so good. So I decided to reread it. Misha and Ryan are childhood pen pals, and then something happens and Misha stops writing to Ryan, and Ryan has no idea why. And then anyway, she is really upset about this. She goes about her life though, and then she meets Mason, who is new at her school, and turns out that that's Misha, but she has no idea because they've agreed, basically when they were younger, they agreed to not say who they are other than their names, like no like social media stalking, and they're never gonna meet, blah blah blah. And anyway, so when Misha turns up at her school, she has no idea who he is, but he knows who she is, and they hate each other. So it's childhood friends to enemies to lovers, and he does not like her at all because she's not what he thought she was going to be based on her letters. And so he is really mean to her, but they still have this connection because obviously, you know, it's Misha and Ryan. And yeah, it's so good. I'm obsessed, and it's such a good book. And then the book that I'm currently reading is Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover. This is a reread. I have about 160 pages left, but this will probably be the last book that I read this month. This follows Miles and Tate, and Miles is Tate's brother's best friend, and basically Miles is completely closed off to relationships and love and everything because of something that happened to him 6 years ago. But he meets Tate, and they have this connection and this attraction to each other, and they decide to become fuck buddies essentially, because it's not like friends with benefits because they're not friends. But yeah, so they decide to start sleeping together, but Miles has 2 rules: don't ask about the past and don't expect the future. We obviously know these rules are gonna get broken, but they start, the more time they spend with each other, the more the connection is forming. Such a good book, so good. It's heartbreaking. It's Colleen Hoover, of course. It's heartbreaking. It alternates timelines each chapter, and one chapter is told from Tate's point of view in present day, and the next chapter is told from Miles's point of view 6 years earlier. So you're finding out what happened to Miles that makes him so closed off to love and relationships. And yeah, so it alternates between the 2 timelines, and it's so good. I'm obsessed. It's amazing. You need to read it. So yeah, that is all the books that I read in the month of May. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you want me to continue doing wrap-up videos each month, let me know and I'll be sure to do that. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up if you did, subscribe to my channel if you're not already, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye guys.